Hello and good afternoon. I am Kaneshi Hart, host of the Coach Up Podcast. This is the Coach Up Podcast extension. I am super excited to be here today talking with Nicole Mace. Nicole, welcome. I am excited because you all who are listening and who are going to see this, if you don't know anything about automating your life, your business, you struggle with systems, you just wish somebody else could figure it out for you need to hear this. So, Nicole, let me dangle that little bit in front of
Yeah,
people and
yeah.
ask you, would you tell people who you are and what you do?
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me on. I'm really excited to be part of the extension and just talk about it. My whole goal is to help female coaches and consultants scale with simple systems and then also be able to monetize their intellectual property through courses and funnels, which are fully automated. So, my whole thing is that time is the ultimate commodity that you can't get back. And so figuring out how to get the most out of your time is automatically going to mean more revenue. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's the key to scaling.
which is so key because, as you just said, right, we all only have so many hours in a day. And
Right.
so, if we are in the business, which you help women to work on the business,
Right. You got it.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
then we are able to scale and grow. And so, real quick, people
Mhm.
hear that term, but can you explain when you say work on the business versus in the
Yeah.
business? What does that mean?
Oh my gosh, I love this question so much. It does not get asked enough. I am a mompreneur as well, and I am a service provider as well. So I know what it feels like to get the client work and be working on the client, delivering everything that you can, going above and beyond, making sure that client is very happy and you're very proud of what you're providing. But all that time spent in delivering your work, whether it be coaching, consulting, service providing, doesn't allow you to actually run your business. So when you're in, entrepreneurship, you come to realize that although you're very good at something, maybe technical or mindset wise, that doesn't actually mean you're a good business owner. And so you have to learn all these components of marketing. Well, how do I stay consistent with marketing? How do I make sure my sales system is very streamlined so it makes it very easy for someone to say yes to working with me? What are all the components I need to work with them effectively and efficiently? That's onboarding. How do I actually deliver my service or my consulting in a way that stays consistent and I get my clients consistent results, right? So that's part of your delivery. And of course, there's offboarding. People forget a lot about offboarding. It's like, how are you going
Mhm.
to get those testimonials without forgetting, oh, a month ago, I forgot to ask for a testimonial? That should all be part of your systems because that is just the cycle that feeds back into your marketing, right? So, all those components, if they are not all working together, you're never going to have what a lot of mompreneurs tell me a real business. They
Mm.
feel like once they have systems in place, they would actually feel like they have a real business and they're not just like trying to get clients and do the work and get another client and do the work. They want to run a business, which means sometimes you're going to need some help, right? A virtual assistant, graphic designer, a video editor. All those people need a way to work with you and do their best work, which means you need to run your business. So yeah, that's what I always tell people. It's you want to be the conductor. The example
Mhm.
I always give, do you want to be a web developer or do you want to run a web development business, right? Or something like that. So
Mhm.
do you want to run your business as the boss or do you want to have your business run you?
Right, exactly. And as you talk about systems, you're right. On offboarding is something that very few people talk about, and so that's super
Yes.
important. If we have time,
Mm,
I'd like to come back to that. But when
love
you
to.
talk about systems, I think maybe it's just me. I think of something that is only technology based,
Mhm.
whereas I know that's a part of it, but
Yeah.
there are other
Mhm.
things like you just mentioned, a virtual assistant or a web designer, and those are all part of your system. So can you, Nicole, break down
Mhm.
what
Mhm.
a system is and give a couple of examples of what a system would be,
Of
top to
course, I would
bottom?
love to.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I like to start at the top. What would be the ultimate business system would be like a system where you are leveraging the heck out of your technology platforms, right? You have automations happening, things are happening while you're sleeping at night, things are getting delivered, people are getting what they need. That is what I refer to as systemized,
Yeah.
meaning you have such a clear and consistent workflow that you are then able to decipher what can be automated through technology. That's systemized business. That's a system-based business. To get there, though, you've got to have transparency in the work that's being done and the result that needs to be executed. Before you can have a transparent or streamlined workflow, it needs to be transparent. And in order to be transparent, you just have to write down your process for doing something and put it in a project management tool. Okay. A lot of people I know have their processes and workflows or processes and procedures in a Google Doc. Documentation is really important. It actually increases your valuation of your business. But until you have nailed down what your streamlined workflow is, there's no need to really document it. Anyone coming into your business should be able to execute on whatever that task is by looking at your actual workflow that you have developed in your project management tool. So although project management tools are used for managing projects, in the online business world, you want to think of your project management tool as your operations hub. So a business system is just being able to say, what is the purpose of this workflow, of this process? Who owns it? What is the trigger? What starts this workflow? What is the target? What does it look like when it's done? And then also being able to say, I triple S and triple T. So what is the statuses of the workflow? Meaning to do, in progress, review, edits. How does it move down a pipeline, right? Those are the statuses. The next one is, what is the success metric? What's the KPI? If I hand this off to someone, how am I going to know at a glance that it's being executed at the level that it needs to, right? So what's the success measurement? And then show it, I say. So give some kind of visual or cue that they're doing it the right way. What does it look like? What's an example of it, right? So the statuses, the success metric, and then show it. Okay. So, and then I have my triple T. So what are the tools, templates, and team? So if you have a VA and a graphic designer and they are running your social media posting, right? Then who is responsible for what part of the workflow? What is the due dates in between each part? So the whole point of a business system is to get your business operations out of your head and into a project board. Okay. That's a system so that you are not the bottleneck. They have everything they need to execute what you need them to do without you being the bottleneck. So I'm sorry if that was convoluted. I tried to give all my tricks in one go, but yeah, get your business out of your head.
Yeah. The 3 T's. Say the 3 T's again.
Tools. What tools do they need? So what platforms, what templates have you created to help you out? And then what team members are involved?
Got it. Yeah. All right. So Nicole, you did just give a ton of very high level yet broken down system of how it works. And I love your triple S and triple T. Yeah. Now I need one of your systems or one of the systems that you work with a client that I can hear and that the audience can hear and say, oh, okay. So that's what that is.
Yeah,
through of course. Everything that you just went through. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay, so let's do one that's pretty popular right now, which is pitching for a podcast process.
Okay.
So if part of your main marketing strategy is to book and be on podcasts, but then also leverage those podcasts to build your own email list or promote your own promotion, whatever you're selling there, you've got to have a system involved so that you can actually take advantage of the work you're putting into it. So, someone will come to me, Nicole, I need a podcast pitching workflow process that someone can help me with, that it's not all on me. So we'll determine what are the planning steps, what do they need to do before they start pitching, right? So it's like, is your website up to date? Do you have your call to action? Is there any messaging or positioning you need to change before you start pitching for these podcasts? The next thing is, that's like a quarterly thing. Now we're going to start identifying what shows. So I have a process on maybe your VA can identify some shows for you to review. And you're going to say yes to these 5. Now we have the next step is writing that pitch email. Well, I provide the templates for that too. So it's giving the tools and templates that you need for every step of the way so that someone can execute it efficiently and effectively.
Gotcha.
So we've prepped for pitching. We have identified the podcast shows. We are now composing all the pitch emails. Now we're going to send those off. Someone's got to track the responses on that, right? So now we're tracking, did we get a positive response? Did we get a negative response? Is it say follow up? I'm booked for this quarter, follow up with me next quarter. So we've got to track those things so that we don't lose that momentum. Okay. Now we have 3 of them booked for next quarter. Great. What calls to action? How do I prep for that session? Where am I sending their audience to? Right. So just making sure from head to toe what's going into this process so that we are not losing the result energy, the lagging energy from all the leading energy that we're putting into it.
Oh, and now you just said 2 terms that, again, may or may not be familiar to people. So Nicole, what's lead measures and lag measures?
Yeah. So lagging is the result that you're getting from energy you're putting in or things that you're doing on a consistent basis. And leading indicators or leading measurements are what you're doing consistently to get those lagging indicators, to get that end result. So for example, maybe your end result, you want to increase your email list by 300 subscribers in the next 2 months. Let's look at your leading indicators. What are you doing to get more people on that email list consecutively? So what are you doing every day? What are you doing every week? What are you doing every month? And then so at 2 months, you can see, did I meet that goal? Okay, if I didn't, was it my leading indicators or was it my execution of my plan?
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. And so as you talked about, those 2 examples were really helpful. And the podcast one was great example on a podcast interview. My question is, you mentioned that you need to put them into a project management system, that some of them live in Google, but I'm old school, Nicole. And so in my head, I think 50 years ago, 100 years ago, who is Biltmore and Vanderbilt, they didn't have these. No. Well, I don't know what they had, but they didn't have a project flow system. Why do I have to use this? Why do I need to put it? What is the benefit of another technological system I have to learn?
One more platform to learn, right?
Yes.
Okay. So here, I hear you. Here's the thing. Those great American businessmen, we're putting in systems in place, but they had the revenue because the timing, they had the revenue to put all these micromanagers in place to make sure these systems were happening.
People. Okay. So they have the people to do it.
People heavy, right? It was a person-based business.
Gotcha.
You lose the people, you lose the systems, you lose the overhead, they had systems in place. No one can scale without systems. So in today's world, number one, a lot of your contractors for solopreneurs like us, we're getting subcontractors to help us grow. We're not employing people. Right. They're virtual. They're not sitting with you.
True.
And you also don't want to hire all of these managers to make sure that those contractors are doing what they're supposed to do. And those contractors may have the best intentions. I hear the story all over and over again from my consultant friends. They hire a VA. They need help. They have so much work on. They can't keep it all up. They hire a VA. They tell the VA what they need them to do. It does not get executed the way that they want to. They spend lots of time on meetings with this VA, trying to explain what they need, how they need it, when they need it, what it should look like, how they should tell the owner of the business that it's done, right? Communicate with them. And now they've just added to their workload by about 10 times.
Right.
Because there's no clear expectations from one way and there's no clear expectations coming from the other. They're working in silos with one means of communication. So project management tool is just transparency in a remote fashion.
Okay.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Okay. So that way both parties can go in.
Both parties have ownership over what's happening.
Yeah. Okay. And because some people may not be familiar with a project management platform. And so I'm sure I've worked with them in corporate America, but I don't pay attention to names for stuff. So I'm just going to articulate this. And Nicole, you tell me if I'm wrong. But I'm going to imagine it's, like you said, we have in the system, it is the project. So what it is that we're working on, the goal, like you said, a 300 growth of email leads in 2 months. And so that's the goal. Everybody knows that that's the project. And then underneath that is send out 15 new contacts to new people a day. And that has an owner. So that person has been assigned that. And then there's a way in there to track that that has been done.
That's right.
Yes. Okay.
Got it. Yeah. You could think about it. I tell my clients, we're going to start with a to-do list. You're going to write down your to-do list of what you have to do today. And then also you're going to start thinking about, what do you do every week? What do you have to do every month? What do you have to do every quarter? What do you have to do every year? And then you're creating operations. Those are your operations. Those are the reoccurring tasks that have to stay going to keep your business running. And so those are business systems that you then create, but you're able to give clarity around it. You're able to give a description. You're able to link tools and resources that you would need, even if you want to streamline processes for yourself. You don't want to hunt and peck things all over your computer to find stuff. I do that for solopreneurs who are like, just make this easy for me. Like, put all the things I need in one place.
Yeah.
That's a workflow. That's a system, right? So as long as you're not using your cognitive load, which is how much your brain can work past this is my teacher coming out of me, your zone of proximal development, how much you can actually stretch your brain in a day. As long as you're not using that on remembering what you need to do and where to find things, you now have the capacity to create, develop, coach at a higher level.
Makes sense.
So I say get your business out of your head so that you can use your head for more important things.
Yes. Okay. What's the difference between a workflow and a system?
Yeah. So I think a system is making sure you have all of the components that goes into building a workflow. So workflow can simply be, here's our to-do list. Like you said, you need to do this by this day. And it's going to move down the status pipeline. So it's in the to-do, it's in the in progress, it's in the review, it's in the needs edits, it's in published or scheduled or whatever, or finished, whatever it is. So that's a simple workflow, making sure there's a checklist involved, who has ownership over it. A system to me has technical elements to it. So for example, one of the first things that most consultants and coaches hire for is help with posting on social media, keeping that marketing machine going. Right. There's lots of tools that need to be developed or implemented into that workflow. So it's a true system. So you're leveraging your tech components to support the effective and efficiency.
Efficiency, yeah.
The workflow.
Okay. I knew what you meant. You're good.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, so where do you see, Nicole, what was it that caused you to step into this space? The problem that you saw that business owners, mompreneurs were having? What were the main problems that you were seeing that people still have?
Yeah.
Which is why you are in the space that you are.
Yeah, I think it's more of a, I'll give a little bit of a backstory. I come from designing online courses, being a learning designer for higher education institutions, so for universities, who are very stuck in the past until COVID, and it was like forced to like push them forward. But I was working in their online programs for so long, but they had these very paper and pencil ways of creation and collaboration when everything we were doing was digital. So I was constantly like, guys, why are we taking 15 steps to do this when we can automate it, when we can just collaborate online? When now I'm working with mostly professors who are steeped in the way they do things, but also like program managers and such. And so I was constantly just shaking my head saying, we don't even do that. There's tech for that. We can collaborate right now in this 1 hour meeting and come up with the solution, right? Let me pull out this digital whiteboard, this live whiteboard. I was just finding ways to leverage technology. And so that brought me to, I really like efficiency. I do not like when we're wasting time for ourselves or for others. It really bugs me. So I was just I wasn't hired to do this, but I was automatically creating systems in online programs at universities just because I just figured this is what I need to do my job better. So let me just put it in place for everyone else. And they were like, yay, what else do you have? So at every university I was at. So I was like, okay, I kind of have a niche for this. Now I'm understanding what all these entrepreneur gurus are talking about, like find what's easy to you and you don't even see it. It's in front of your face, right? But I also have a extensive background in developing digital learning. So I am a teacher at heart and I love developing online courses. And now with all the automations in place, I just see so many opportunities for people to monetize their expertise and do it through automations as well. So those two things hand in hand is kind of like get your business organized through business systems and leverage the heck out of your years and years of experience. So that is my two, they're like, pick something to work on. But I was like, I love both. So I will help them with both. And it depends on where they are in their journey. Some people, some mama coaches are, I would say mama coaches, because I'm a mom and we do not have time for anything else, right? Efficiency is the name of the game.
Right.
So those coaches are doing a lot of one-on-one, or maybe they're doing small group and they don't have a digital component of it. And I bring in my education background of like, we need to flip this model, right? We need your direct instruction to be provided in a digital course, and then for them to show up and do active learning with you. So that's just a scaling component. So I just started talking more and more to these consultants and coaches and say, what are you doing? What's giving you a headache? Let's solve it. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about digital products a little bit. Because one, I love that you, as you said, you really fell into the model of find your strength and then make a business out of it, especially if there's a need. And especially in this time, there is a need. So much is, we're already so digital, but there's still so much more to come that's going to be digital. I mean, we hear about our digital currency coming from our federal government soon. Everything is going digital. Yeah. So talk about, go ahead.
I can dive into the trends that I'm seeing right now, which is, digital learning is not going anywhere. The knowledge economy is only supposed to like 5x every year for like the next 10 years. So it's definitely not going anywhere. What I want to give caution to is that when you put things in a digital capacity, human touch is so important still. But that doesn't mean that they need to have access to you continuously. You can put structure around that. So what we talk about as instructional designers there's 4 different types of presence in an online course or digital product that's going to get results for anyone who's learning online or learning at a distance. The first is that there's instructor presence. So the learner has to know when you're showing up as an instructor, how they get in contact with you, what kind of access do they have to you, and how you're going to show up, like I said. The second thing is peer-to-peer or social presence, meaning where's that community? How am I talking to people who are going through it? How do I brainstorm with people around me? The community is gold. People come for the content, but they stay for the community. The third one is cognitive presence. So where is my steps that I'm starting at point A and I'm going to get to point B, and what are all the steps that you're putting in place for me to get there, also called scaffolding? And how am I able to reflect on what I'm learning? How do I know I'm making progress? So cognitive presence. The fourth one is emotional presence. So how am I checking in with myself? How are you checking in with me on how this environment or experience is feeling?
Okay. Where did those come from?
Where does this come from?
Yes.
It's called Community of Inquiry Learning Theory. So so I'm a learning designer. I have a master's in instructional technology, working on a doctorate in instructional technology. I don't like to tell people that because I'm far away from it. So don't even consider me a doctor or close to it. But I love this stuff. This is the way I love knowing how people learn, how our brains absorb information and turn them into usable knowledge, and how to do that online, because we should not be trapped in 4 walls to get information.
Right.
So I'll throw that out there. Digital products are here to stay as long as you have those 4 pillars.
Okay. I've not heard that put that
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
obviously this is not my area of study. So thank you for
Sure.
sharing that. And congratulations on your doctorate work that you're doing.
Just
And
started 1 year in.
it's okay.
Wow.
It's still amazing. Good for you.
Thanks.
As you're talking about the digital products, I think a lot of people think of courses, but what are other digital products?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I like to say digital programs because there's can be layers to them, right? So if you are doing a group coaching and you have a community aspect to it, but you also have a framework for someone to work through, so that's that direct instruction. So that's a program. So course, community, and coaching put together, the three magic C's of online learning. Another digital product is so a workshop, like a virtual workshop, a monthly virtual workshop, which is a main marketing strategy, especially for coaches and consultants, for people to find you and you provide value in teaching. That like no trust factor is like exponential when you provide that kind of digital product, and it can be served as a replay, right? So that's when we have that watch the replay of a workshop that also turns into that video sales letter that can be on a landing page and say, if you want to dive deeper, here's your opportunity to dive deeper with me. So workshop, community, coaching, courses. And also we love a quick win with templates. I'm a template queen. Send me a template. Like if you can do it faster than me and I can plug and play, go for it. So
a template for what? What kind of templates?
Okay, so I love social post templates, the graphics. I love sometimes like workbooks that people put out, or something that I can use that I know is going to help me, it's going to help my clients, and 50% of the work is done. Like I'll take a leg up that can be used over and over again. So any kind of digital products for templates, also known as swipe files. I just purchased one for like 3 different types of blog posts to make sure you're hitting the 3 levels of your, client journey that's on. And it has like prompts, right? So it's like, say this in the beginning of the blog, saying this in the middle of the blog. And sometimes it just helps with cognitive load. Like I said, like, can I write a blog post? Yes, I'm writing papers weekly. Right. But I also just tell me what to write and let me write it.
Well, okay.
I don't want to think about it.
Right. That makes sense. What do they call it? Decision exhaustion?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Is that the right term?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about. I order the same coffee every day and the barista's like, why? I'm like, I don't want to think about it.
Just one less thing to think about.
That's right. It's a real thing.
Okay, so that is helpful. And I like the digital programs because that incorporates so much more. Yes. Makes a lot of sense. And I like how you talked about, just going back to the courses really quickly, how the one-on-one instruction or the one-on-one coaching can be formatted into a evergreen course that can be delivered without additional time from that individual.
Yeah. Can I give you a quick example that I love I'm doing right now? I have a client who runs a mortgage brokerage. She's not a coach or a consultant, but she's come up through the loan officer world for 20 years. She's brilliant when it comes to mortgages and supporting and helping people. She now runs her own brokerage. She wants to help other loan officers learn how to create their own brokerage. There's a lot of steps involved, a lot of legality, how to make sure you're in for the long haul, you don't lose your brokerage, how do you stay compliant? So she's like, I want to coach people on this. And I said, maybe 1 hour a week for 6 weeks, go over the 6 main steps they need to create and run their brokerage. But she started handing me all this content, all this information. So I'm like, okay, she's a professor in brokerages. Like she has so much information, 20 years in the business. We need to create a mini course so that you are giving them direct instruction. So you're telling them the what, the why, and the what's in it for them. Like what's the benefit of knowing this information? And then you're giving them an action step from that pre-recorded training, right? The one step, an action step. So now they're going to come to you with the foundational knowledge and have tried something. Now you have something to coach them on.
That's true.
Right? So you're not just teaching during your coaching hour, but you are helping them solve the problem, overcome a mindset, give them next steps. So much better results.
Yes. And
Run that over.
correct.
Yeah.
And because it is better results, then she's going to get great testimonials and she'll have amazing success stories from that, which also then just helps the business to grow. So, okay, that makes sense. Kudos to her with the mortgage brokerage and the.
I know. She's like, let me throw this on my plate. And she's also writing a book. So, you know how mompreneurs do it. Can't stop it.
I do not know because I have godchildren, not little ones, but I am impressed with you guys.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, because I do not know how you all do it. I think I don't have time.
We
and
don't
I don't
know
have
either.
kids.
We don't know. We just keep going. Don't tell us how. Don't ask us how.
It is the strength of a woman, though. That is definitely what it is. Okay, so I want to spend a little bit of time, Nicole, learning about your business. And so you gave us a little background on how you came to be where you are. But now, how long have you been in this space now where you are helping mompreneurs and business owners with their systems and their automation and their digital programs?
Yes. So actually, this is my first year. I hit my first year.
Yay, congratulations.
Doing a full pivot into supporting mama coaches and consultants. I was doing it essentially like on the side for my other coaching friends as I was a learning designer for universities and also dabbling in, at that time, I had kind of a side business where I was teaching teachers how to use Canvas. If anyone has kids, they probably know what the Canvas LMS is. It's a learning management system. And I was helping universities train their professors how to use it. So I was like, let me show K-12 teachers how to do it. So I had like a side business going on there with coaching. So I was helping, other people how to figure out how to streamline their businesses and set up these automations and like, you don't need to do this manually, girl. So then I was like, okay, this is actually, what happened is in one of my first classes in my doctorate program, they had us take the Clifton Strength Finder. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like a assessment, personality assessment.
Yes. It comes with a small white book.
Yes, that's the one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it tells you your top 5 strengths and a light bulb went off. My number 1 strength is that I can learn fast. I'm a learner, which makes sense because as a learning designer, I'm taking on courses that are like advanced economics. What the heck is that? but I can help a professor. I can pull out the right questions to understand the content enough to develop a ladder to get a student from A to B, right? So I can use my learning design and enough of their knowledge to build a course. It's just kind of crazy. So I like to learn. I can learn fast. Okay. I'm a learner. The second one is I can't remember the name of it, but it was like processes. Like I love the process. I'm like, yes, all day, every day. So that's really what told me what I was good at. And I think a lot of times in our life, our attention is brought to what we're not good at, right? What we need to improve on, what we've got to, what we need to improve on to do X, Y, and Z. But can everyone really name what they're really good at? Maybe not. Maybe they don't know how to articulate that. I didn't. I just said like, I don't like wasting time. But really what it means is I like systems. I like processes. I like not having to use my brain to remember steps. I like to get those steps out there and I can use it for creativity instead. Yeah. So that's what happened. So 1 year in and I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
Yeah. Okay. So I know that we talked right before we jumped on, we talked about now you're 1 year in and you're pivoting a little bit. Yeah. So I want to talk about that. But before I get there, I want to ask, so as you begin building your business, because the thing I love about getting to talk to coaches who are new in their business and in that building stage is what have you done? Because Coach Up Podcast is all about giving coaches a leg up or a hand up on how to build their business. And so talk about, or can you go back to like 3 months in of your business and where you were frustrated and what you did that has that moved you past that, whatever that frustration was?
Yes. Okay. So this is a really good question. Okay, so 3 months in, I had decided that I decided I'm getting out of education. I just need space from that world. Space. I'm going to be business systems only. Okay. So 3 months in, I'm business systems. Don't talk to me about education. Every single consultant I spoke with, because I wanted to focus on helping women consultants really, because I think it's something that we need more of them in the world, women being paid for their brain.
Yeah.
So I was like, women consultants, business systems. Every single consultant I spoke with came back to, well, how do I scale with the knowledge that I have? And how do I make sure I have more impact without taking more of my time? And I'm over here like, I know, but I don't want to say it. Everyone needs a course and not like a mass market course to try to get thousands and thousands of people in there, but to support the work that they're doing and cloning themselves, cloning their brain, right?
Yeah.
So it all always came back to a course. So I said, okay, well, I'm not leaving business systems because you also need those. So that's really in my month 3, I realized it's probably going to come hand in hand.
Yeah.
And so I said, I need reoccurring revenue. So I will start as a fractional COO or a fractional director of ops. I will come into your business. I will look at what you need to happen, and I will create all these workflows for you and your team. And I will also manage the execution of those workflows and support your team members and what they need to get their jobs done, which sounded really good in theory. I liked the work up front. I liked what I was doing. I loved the people I was working with. But my issue was I put 0 parameters around my scope.
Okay.
Rookie move number 1.
Okay.
So I was just drained. Essentially, I was trying to make every business that I had hands in a Fortune 500 business. And the owners, especially at the level I was working with, they were still pivoting quite a bit themselves, still figuring out, especially 2023 when the economy was like, what is going on? So everyone was pivoting at that time. And so it was just constant limbo. And when you are trying to systemize something, limbo is not super fun, right? So it's all part of it, but it made it very challenging to do it for multiple businesses that were already running. So I said, okay, fractional director of ops or COO is not where I want to be. I want to trade a project for money. So it's like, okay, I'm going to turn to a project-based business. One of the projects that I love to deliver is called a Suite Sales System, which is a custom honeybook build out, which is a client management system. I know I told you guys to get into project management system, but if you don't have one of those yet, you at least need a client management system so that if you are in type of work where someone needs to jump on a call with you, you've got to create and send proposals. You've got to make sure that they're e-signing a contract with you. You've got to send an invoice and collect that payment. If you're in that type of work and you're doing any of those things manually, please stop. You can put this in a system for yourself so that this is the easiest part of your business. Someone paying you should be the easiest part of your business, right? So that's one project I love to deliver, completely customize it for the intake form, to the proposal, to the packages that are on the proposal, to the contract, the whole thing. I customize it. I love it. So that's one project that I love to deliver. And then I was also been delivering e-learning development. So developing digital programs. The thing that I'm figuring out is that everyone's busy and you're not going to get that collaboration, the continuous collaboration that you need to develop courses and programs with project-based work.
Gotcha.
Right? If someone pays you for a project, they give you all this money, they say, build me a course, girl. And I'm like, amazing, let's get started. I have 1-2 meetings with them and then they're MIA for like 3 months because other stuff comes up. They're a business owner and I get it. I'm never like punitive or anything. I'm like, I get it. Get back to me. Send this to me when you can. And I'm figuring out that it's not only not working for me, but it's not working for them. I just want to deliver results, right? So that's when I came to crazy timing. But last night I got about 3 hours of sleep because I was researching a different business model that I would be happy with and that my clients would get results faster.
Yeah. Congratulations on the pivot.
Thanks.
That is
That happened this morning.
But again, it goes back to what you enjoy doing. And
Yeah,
it's also, right, what will ultimately serve your clients the best.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah. Because when we operate in our gifts, then it is only going to be, it's only going to strengthen our collaboration with others because it allows them to work in their gifts. We get to work in ours. When you put it together, everything is better than if we are struggling to do what's not our gift. Because another coach said, you're either going to put in time or money, right? And like a system is really a form of investing money because probably you're paying for the platform, but you're investing the time to set it up. And then it is, there's a return on investment for it because either you're going to do something, figure it out, take the time to do it, struggle through it. And so you're investing a lot of time and eventually you'll get to more money. Or you can just invest the money up front and save on the time to get to the, quicker. So kudos to you that you're going to be doing, pivoting into even more of what you're excellent at.
We'll do similar work, but in a fashion that I can deliver. Like you said, it's almost like when I'm working in my strengths, if I'm not delivering, it's painful. It's like, I could do so much for you. Please let me finish this, right? Like, I just need this and this and this from you. And we will hit the ground. It's like painful. Like, please let me do this work that I love. But they're the subject matter expert or it's their business. So they are still in control and I am working with them as a consultant in some fashion. Yeah. So I'm going to pivot. And maybe some people on here listening or watching the playback may have heard of this business model, but if not, I'd love to dive in because I did spend 5 hours researching last night.
You literally spent. Okay. I love it. Again, how your brain works. Because I would have had the idea and just been like, I'm just going to start. There would have been no research done.
I was like, is this possible for what I do? You know, it's like, if you don't have an exact example, my brain just is like turning and turning, like, how could this work for me? And I've tested so many things now, even previously as a learning design consultant for universities where, I have a hard time putting a ton of work into it if I don't have some kind of research, right, into it or an example at least. Yeah. So, yeah.
No, that makes sense. Okay. We're running short on time. However, one last question before we jump into how people can reach you and connect with you and all that good stuff.
I love that.
So as we were talking about, and Nicole, this is why I write it down. Like it was just there. And then it left me. Usually I'm taking notes, but I also don't know. Sometimes I don't know on this platform, like, can it hear my clacking of my nails on the. But nonetheless, okay. It'll come back to me. So we'll have you tell everybody how they can reach out to you. And then I'm sure it'll come back to me. So tell people how they can reach out to you, work with you, connect with you.
Yes. Okay. I love this. So because I'm pivoting, I'm changing my entire website. So find me on LinkedIn, right? So just Nicole /Nicole Mace. I also have a business page. So I'm the Systemized CEO. You can find me on LinkedIn or Facebook. Feel free to connect with me. I love chatting just about business and just supporting women and supporting mamas. So happy to connect with you. Even if we don't work together, I'm here to support you as well. So I would say I'm most active on LinkedIn for my consultant and coaching friends, and then Facebook for a lot of service providers as well. Yeah. So Nicole Mace or the Systemized CEO.
Love it. And yes, my question came back. We've talked about platforms today and project management systems, and you call them CMS. Customer management system?
A CMR. A lot, it's very popular. A customer management CRM, sorry, customer relations management tool, which
Right.
is same thing as a client management tool.
Client
So
management.
like the one I use for that is HoneyBook, but to deliver your services or keep your business running with all your other operations, my favorite tool is ClickUp. I've used a lot of project management tools in my lifetime. ClickUp is one that is very versatile, highly flexible, and you will not outgrow. And it is the most affordable, surprisingly.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That was my question. I have heard of HoneyBook, and I've heard
Mhm.
amazing things about it.
Mhm,
That it
mhm.
does just about everything in one. I'm from housing websites to CRMs to marketing. Well, that is all of that include. Is that why you use it, or why
I
are you
would
a fan?
say I would say it is a space in your business where a lead says, I want to learn more about working with her, all the way to I've now paid her. What's my next steps?
Mhm.
So it's that portion of your business where you need someone to be able to book a call with you and get information to start your conversation with them about. You need a place to create a proposal where in HoneyBook, it's like a mini website. You can have multiple pages. It's all digital. You can add any elements you want. It's literally a website builder, but you can put a proposal on there and templatize it, right?
Okay.
And then you can also have your contract that's auto-filled by what service they or package they selected from the proposal.
Oh.
They can e-sign it. Then that actually auto-fills them into an invoice that you have preset your payment schedule. So if it's multiple payments, it's going to say your first payment is due today. This is how much it is. Your next payment is this. This is when it's due. So it gives them a schedule there. And then it turns into a payment portal. So as soon as you say pay here. So in one email, they can go from this is the package I want, signing the contract, this is my invoice, this is my rest of my payments, here's my payment. And when that's done, then maybe the final page of that proposal is book your kickoff call with me. Right? So you have literally clicked send and you have a client in 20 minutes or less,
Wow.
10 minutes maybe. Yeah. So it's
That
putting
is,
all those pieces together. Yeah. So I
yeah.
just want to say, like, your sales system should be the easiest or the primary system in your business. It should be the easiest thing in your business. If someone is like, you are solving a pain point for me, they should not have to think about how to work with you afterwards, right? So like that should be the easiest part of your business to pay you and get started.
I think that's a great piece of advice. Okay, this is my last question for real. How long should we learning a new platform expect? And I know everybody has a different curve, but
Mm,
just to hear what you just talked about, like I
mm.
get tired already because I just don't want to have to learn how to set
Yeah,
all that up. I don't care how intuitive it is.
I hear
So
you.
what should our expectations be?
Yeah. Okay. So YouTube University is my best friend. If I don't know a platform, someone else is going to teach me how to do it.
Mhm.
Um, and I just start really small. So so I start every client with a lead management component or system. How is someone going to book a call with you and get it and complete an inquiry form? Right. That's it. Maybe they get a return email that says like, can't wait to chat with you. I saw that this was your pain point, blah, blah, blah. I would just start small and so I'll build something out for my clients, a custom HoneyBook build out, a suite sales system. And then I will give them a 1 hour individualized training on the platform.
Mhm.
As I'm building it out with them, there's 4 main things I build out in there. At the end of every component I build out, I give them a quick tutorial on like, this is what I built. This is what it looks like. Any feedback? This is how it's going to work for you. So surely, quickly they are filling out, oh, okay, I can see the building blocks. And at the end of it, I give them a 1 hour training. Additionally, I give them 30 days to play with it, try it out, use it. I'm
Mhm.
here for you. So they have Slack instant message support for 30 days after I'm done building out the whole thing. And to be honest, like we stay friends and they're just like, well, how do you do that again? I'm like, let me send you a 2-minute video and show you how. Like, no problem, girl. So yeah.
I love that. Okay.
Yeah.
It is doable. They are necessary. Systemize your business, automate your business.
Yes.
Use a project management system. I am learning. Okay.
And start with a to-do list. Start with a basic to-do list.
Yes, and go from there. And I also appreciate when you talked about the operations. So everything should have an operations in your business. And so if you take your hands off, somebody should be able to do it. Oftentimes in the solopreneur world, we build everything around us. And if you plan to build a business,
that's right,
like a fully functioning business, then you've got to be able to step away.
Yeah,
That's
I
why
tell
we build it.
people I help them go from a person-based business to a system-based business. That's the transformation I'm helping them move towards. Yeah.
Yeah. That is a perfect way to end this. I kept you a little longer than I was supposed to. Thank you for the extra time.
Of course.
Everyone, share this out. Reach out to Nicole if you have questions, but find systems, figure out the systems in your business. Reach out to Nicole when you know that you need help.
Yeah, love to help.
Thank
so
you
much.
again for being here.
Of course.